We're really bad at being productive, you and I. We have our phones, we're constantly distracted, we're always on social media scrolling and looking at random videos. Heck, even you looking at this YouTube video right now, you're being unproductive. But that's okay, because hopefully what I've learned in this last week may help you. All right, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my productivity issues that is also kind of your productivity issues, or else you probably wouldn't have clicked on this video. My productivity has been terrible in the last few years. As a grown adult, not knowing what I'm doing and not knowing how to allocate my time, it's been wearing on me over the last few years. But it's been more apparent in the last few months, ever since I started posting daily content to my social media platforms, which if you don't follow me on those platforms, I will kindly leave my handle down here below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and you're already on my YouTube channel, so there you go. My film is POV automotive photography content, and here on YouTube, I'm just figuring out what I do want to film on a regular basis. So if you enjoy this, feel free to leave a like down below. My biggest problem whenever it comes to my professional life or my content creation is I constantly find myself being distracted by my phone. And it's not always just my phone, it can be anything else really, but majority of the time it is my phone. Every time I get a text message, whether it's from my wife or a family member, or I get a notification from social media, I always open my phone, check on the notification, and then I find myself scrolling for 30, 45 minutes, just completely wasting away my day. This was much more apparent as I started posting to social media every single day throughout the last, I think about 5 months now. I started back in August of 2023. So inherently, I am on my phone a lot more. And that's completely normal if I'm just going on there and posting and then hopping off, maybe get on a little while later, check on comments, messages, etc. But I still find myself scrolling a lot on social media. And it could be for a number of reasons, just for my own enjoyment, or maybe I'm looking for some trending audio that I want to use on a new post. It's always this constant rat race of trying to get the next idea out there, and it's actually more unproductive than I want it to be. A part of my challenge this year is to post more consistently on social media and even here on YouTube, which, by the way, if you're not subscribed yet to this channel, please feel free to hit the subscribe button down below and drop a like if you like this kind of content, because this is kind of fun to make. Still in the early stages of this channel, so I have no idea what is going to remain consistent or not. So any feedback is actually really appreciated. So what are the solutions to my problem? I have a few that I can actually choose from. The first of which is through Apple. Apple has proprietary software where you can put on do not disturb mode. You can set up your focus time to allow certain notifications to come in but block others. You have the ability to limit your screen time based on the application that you are limiting yourself to, although I have found that to not be very useful, and it's super easy for me to just say, ignore it, I want to use the application. There are third-party applications that you can get that do actually set a hard limit on your other applications where it won't let you access it. There's even some methods out there where you can create friction between you and the application use itself. On iPhones, you can set up routines, or you can set up shortcuts where I could say, if I click on this application, go through these steps first before I allow myself to use that application. There are some nifty ways that you can go about dealing with it. The problem with those solutions is that it still requires me to use my phone. And the point is to not use my phone. When I'm trying to be productive, I want to work and not have to worry about touching my phone in order to set those limitations. And if I know what those limitations are, I'm just gonna go ahead and bypass them anyways. So is it really that effective? For me, it hasn't been. So what is the solution for me? Well, I don't quite know the actual solution, but the current solution that I am attempting right now is a little bit more simple. Over the last few months, I've seen content creators use a timer on their desk, a physical timer. And I always thought, what is that? And what is it called that they're doing? Well, I finally found out because one creator, who I can't remember for the life of me, mentioned the name. And it's called Pomodoro Technique. Pomodoro is Italian for tomato. And when I Googled it, it is literally a kitchen timer that was in the shape of a tomato, when the guy who invented it started the technique back in the 1980s. I won't go through all the boring details. Feel free to look up yourself. but I'm going to break down and paraphrase essentially what the technique is all about. First, I'm going to take a drink of water because I'm sick still and I probably sound like garbage, so I apologize in advance, but I really wanted to film this video. In a nutshell, the Pomodoro Technique is a way to set time blocks. You have a time block for working, and then you have a time block for a break. And you do this in a number of sequences. So one working block, one break block is one sequence, and you do that a number of times, and then you give yourself a longer break. So what do those time sequences look like? Your work sequence is set up for 25 minutes. 25 minutes of uninterrupted work. After the 25 minutes of uninterrupted work, you then set the timer to 5 or 10 minutes for a break. I typically do 10 minutes because I feel like that's a much nicer break. At the end of that 10 minutes, you repeat the process. And you do this in 4 sequences. So you work, break, work, break, work, break until the 4th sequence. At the end of the 4th sequence, you set the timer to 20 or 30 minutes for a longer break. I set it to 30 minutes because, again, I feel like that's a nicer break to have. And the purpose behind this is you are forcing yourself into these time buckets and you're forcing yourself to take those breaks because more often than not, people are constantly burning themselves out, including myself. If I am set on a project, I am working on it for multiple hours straight. At the end of the day, I'm mentally fatigued and I don't want to do anything else. As a full-time employee, at a day job and as a part-time content creator, that is not necessarily going to work for me because at the end of my workday, I'm here filming a YouTube video or I'm editing a photo shoot I did over the weekend, and I just quite literally can't put off those things because I am challenging myself to post more frequently. And so my problem was that I was constantly staying up super late at night working on my content because I prolonged it throughout the evening, and I'm now staying up to 11 o'clock at night or even midnight some nights finishing my work. And then on those nights where I stay up really late, I actually might get up early the next day on a working day, and I will edit in the morning before I log in for work. Again, it's not necessarily a healthy way to go about it. When I read into this technique, I was like, okay, let's look for a timer because I don't have a kitchen timer here at home and I didn't want to use my phone because, again, the purpose of this is to not use my phone. And so what I did in the time being was I used my work phone as a timer because there's nothing going on with my work phone. Most of my stuff is done on my work computer. So I was able to use that as a timer temporarily while I waited for my kitchen timer to come in, and I put my personal phone on Do Not Disturb. I set myself up with a list of things I had to do that was given to me by my manager, and they wanted me to have it done by the end of the day. So I was like, okay, well, it's lunchtime right now. I have until 5 p.m., end of day. Let's see how much of this I can get done. When I set up that timer for the 25-minute increments, it immediately felt like a game to me. And by the end of the day, I actually got all of the things done on my list that I needed to do. And again, I went 25 minutes of work, 10 minutes of break, over and over again. And actually, at the end of the day, I ended it off with a 30-minute break. So at 5 p.m., I gave myself 30 minutes, went upstairs, decompressed from work, got some food, and then I got right into my content creation. And I mentioned I had a to-do list. The to-do list is ideal to set yourself up for success, whether it's work-related, maybe you're doing content creation like I am, or maybe it's chores around the house that you got to get done. Either way, having a to-do list up front is ideal for this to work. And then if you find yourself with extra time at the end of a working session, it's recommended to reflect back on the stuff that you did complete, or if you don't need a reflection, maybe work on your to-do list for the next round of working. That's exactly what I did at the end of my workday. When I was complete with all of my work duties, I actually sat down and I created a to-do list for my content creation. That evening, I wanted to edit a YouTube video. I wanted to write a newsletter, which, quick plug, if you are not subscribed to my newsletter, it is free, and I'll have it linked in the description below. You get to hear me ramble about this kind of stuff, but in a newsletter form, which is pretty fun, honestly. One of the things I'm doing this year. And then I also wanted to be able to edit my short form content for the next day. I got all those things done within 4 hours. So by the time my wife got home from work from the hospital, I was done with my work stuff and my content creation stuff. And I was able to spend time with her. I was able to have dinner, watch her TV show, relax, put my phone down, not worry about it, and just talk about each other's days. Like, it actually felt really good. The following day, my kitchen timer showed up, and this is it right here. It's by a company called Leork, which, by the way, this is not a sponsored video at all. I literally just picked one out of the massive lists of kitchen timers that exist online, and it had some pretty good reviews and it was on sale, so I bought it. But this is a very basic modern day timer. It is metal construction. It is magnetic on the back, so if you want to stick it to your refrigerator, you can do that. And it runs on 3 AAA batteries. Now, to operate it, all you have to do is click it to get it to turn on, and you can hear that it beeps. The beeping can be turned down or it can be turned off altogether. You have 3 levels. It has super loud, still somewhat loud, and then mute. And then it also has the ability to change the display. So right now it's in eco mode. So when it's not in use, it will automatically turn off the display on its own. But when it is in use, like it is right now, eventually this is going to dim. It's going to look like a always on display on a modern day smartphone. And so this is set up for 25 minutes. Obviously you can see it counting down. If you see any massive jumps in time, it's because I don't know how to talk and I cut it out. It's going to gamify your work. And that's how I felt about it so far. At the end of this, it does beep. It's very annoying. So if you don't want it to beep, at least on this one, you can mute it. On other ones, I don't know. But if you want to stop it, which you can just do that by clicking it. If you want to reset it, you click and hold, and then it's going to reset back to 0. Now, to set this one, and I'm sure to set all the other ones, all you have to do is spin it. So it goes up in increments of 5 seconds, but then if you spin it faster, it's going to eventually go in increments of 1 minute. And this one is a little bit finicky. I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong, but as I go up, it takes a little while for it to go up by minutes. So now you can see it's going up by the minute, and it goes all the way up to 99 minutes and 55 seconds before it zeroes back out. Now, if I want to go back to doing by 5 seconds, I stop spinning it for a little bit, and then I start spinning it again. Now it's going up by increments of 5 seconds. Now, I was skeptical about this because everything else I've tried in the past, it's always ended up not working. And so I felt that this was going to be more of a placebo effect, but I was pleasantly surprised. I've been using this method for the last week. I will be honest, I'm not very good at it. I still find myself overworking. I still find myself pausing every once in a while, and I even find myself taking a longer break than I probably should. I've also even found myself scrolling on my phone in the middle of a working session. So I just chalk that up as me being in the wrong and not knowing what I'm doing, which is all the time. As the week has gone on, I've only used it whenever I am intending on doing it. So it's not like I have to live my day 25 minutes at a time. It's when I want to sit down and get something done, I set up the timer and I get it done. Is it a perfect system? Not for everybody. Not for me at the moment. But as I do it more, I hope to improve, because so far it has made a positive impact on my workflow. I'm an analyst and my job is to streamline processes and save people time. So if there's a way that I can save somebody 10 minutes of their workday, that's money saved and that's their livelihood saved. Like they don't no longer have to work those extra 10 minutes. This is a great way for me to potentially retrain my brain on how to approach my work, my to-do list. Now, if I just actually make a to-do list and stick to it, that'd be great. As a part-time content creator, I am struggling to bulk edit, and I'm hoping that eventually I can get to the point where I can bulk edit all my content on maybe a day or two. If I just really sit down and work on it, then I can get it done and I can just move on with the other things I want to do in life. I got family to take care of. I have a house to take care of. I don't want to spend every single evening down here after I've spent 8 hours down here for my job editing content all the time. So hopefully this has a much more positive impact for me over the course of multiple months. But for the last week, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to wrap it up here, but if this is something that may interest you, I highly recommend looking it up first, seeing what the technique is all about. I did pretty much give you a crash course on how it all works, but read a little bit more into it. And if it's something that interests you and you have a kitchen timer laying around, might as well try it out. Try it out for a day even, and just see if it does do what you want it to do for you. Again, make sure you write down to-do lists before you start, or else you're just doing random things and maybe it's not really that productive. If you don't have one of these, I'll link this specific one in the description below. It is an Amazon affiliate link, so if you do purchase one of these or a different one after clicking that link, it does directly support me at no extra cost to you, and I appreciate it. This was like 17 bucks. A lot of them are usually around the $20 range, so I guess like worst case scenario, you get a really nice kitchen timer out of it if it doesn't work for you. And so now you can use it for cooking, which is its intended purpose. Also, one last tidbit, don't Google Pomodoro timer like I did. It's just a kitchen timer. Pomodoro is just tomato. Yeah, I did that, even though I knew that Pomodoro was a tomato. So we don't need to talk about that. But anyways, I'll have this link down below, and if this kind of content interests you, feel free to let me know. I am not very big in productivity stuff, but I figured this would be a cool video to make because this is my first time doing something like this. This is still very much a new process to me too. So if you have any recommendations of what kind of content you would like to see from me, whether it be stuff like this or stuff about my photography or content creation in general, feel free to let me down below in the comments below if I can speak. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and, leave a like. Let me know if you like this video. That's it. That's all I got for you right now. And I'll see you next time. See ya.